Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again with another great Dark Beyond card review, and we have the last priest card to review, a legendary of infinite proportions. It's a really weird one, interesting one, Spellburst, holy shenanigans. We're going to talk about that, as well as one other card that was revealed yesterday that I forgot to mention earlier today. So we'll throw it into this review so that, yeah, we'll have a couple of cards to talk about. And we still have our giveaway going on for 2 regular pre-orders, 2 mega bundles out of my pocket to enter the giveaway. Like and comment in the video, link down description below, the one with that thumbnail over there. Be subscribed to the channel, and for every 1,000 subs we get until all the cards are revealed, and there's no limit on that, I will add another mega bundle to that giveaway. So hit that sub button, make me go broke. You guys have been subbing like crazy. I'm actually starting to get nervous. We might hit the next 1,000 pretty soon. So thank you all so much for that. So first, there was one neutral legendary revealed like later in the day on Reddit, or not legendary, neutral card that we didn't cover, and well, let's go over it. It is this card here, the 3 mana Ethereal Oracle. It is a 2/3. It has spell damage +1, so nothing crazy, but it has spell burst. Draw 2 spells, which 3 mana, draw 2 specific cards is pretty darn solid. You get spell damage on top of that, like Azure Drake crying in a corner, but again, Azure Drake was battle cry, you could get the card immediately. It's a pretty powerful effect though, like tutoring out, like maybe you want to tutor out just specific cards. Big Spell Mage, for instance, right? Another way to get your big spells that you want to get out that otherwise you can't really get to, although the spell damage is kind of useless, and the spell burst will only be good with coins. Probably not the greatest example, but still, just drawing 2 cards for 3 mana is pretty powerful. And the fact it's a tutor thing, spells, which the legendary, just coincidentally we're going to look at here, will definitely like that, because you might want maybe specific holy spells or fire spells or whatever, right? You never know that this could be something to make that happen. It's a neutral option, so absolutely any class can play it, and card draw is just insane in today's game, isn't it? Arcane Intellect was like the standard for card draw, like good card draw for a long time, and that just feels so antiquated, so slow, that it wouldn't surprise me at this point they like just buffed that to 2 mana. Because yeah, we're at the point where like so many cards draw 2 for 3 or more with like minor drawbacks or like no drawbacks like at all. So yeah, I think this card sees play. It depends on the deck. I can see like OTK, like spell damage druid, right? That deck's pretty solid, and this is a way for them not only to get spell damage but draw spells to kill your opponent. Just seems really solid, right? I'm actually gonna give this a 4 to 5 in standard. I feel like this could slot into so many different decks, combo centric for the most part, but still, I'm not gonna write this one off whatsoever. And then wild, I could see like Shaman in particular, like they struggle with card draw there, like the Shutterwalks of the world, and getting like your specific like devolves and stuff. You could consider playing this in Shutterwalk, Shaman, or just like decks like that in Wild. I'll give it a 3 there too. And it comes with spell damage. Like I feel like if this didn't even say spell damage +1, I'd say it's a good card, and it comes with that on a whatever body, right? So yeah, a pretty crazy, decent card there. Next we have, yes, the main attraction of the video, final priest legendary here, and is it Cure? It sure looks like Cure to me. Cure, the Light Beyond, a 3 mana 3/3 minion, which is also a spell burst minion. You summon a random 3-cost minion. That's it. You just summon a random 3-cost minion. Oh wait, there's more. Holy spells don't remove this spell burst. So we took a look earlier at that spell where like you could go to 0 mana if played an adjacent card. This could be your adjacent card, and boom, you buff this up, you get a 3-cost spell, and you keep the spell burst. So I can play another holy spell and get a 3-drop, and another holy spell and get a 3-drop, and you have like that what's the repeatable one, holy? I'm not sure. Regardless, yeah, you can just get a bunch of minions on the board, and this is only 3 mana. This is extremely cheap. It's like Violet Teacher. Remember that back in the day? Some of those 1/1s for spells? That was pretty good. They got the Mount Seller, which was like, was that 3 mana beasts? I'm not sure what, or just whatever it was. That was really good. At back in the day, it was a little bit easier to abuse. It could be any what spell period, I think. Regardless, this just is pretty nuts if you have a bunch of cheap holy spells, right? Like that is really nice, and you just flood the board with random 3-cost minions, which can be, you can get like Injured Hauler, which won't even damage itself, which is just obscene, absurd that this card, yeah, looks pretty darn good, but it definitely more of a build around, definitely doesn't go into anything you're currently doing in Priest, but absolutely something that you could consider building around, because that effect, that payoff is just, again, there's so many cards that they're making these days that just give you these giant board fills, like the Razzle Dazzlers of the world and all that stuff, that it follows in that category. We know how good that can be. It just does, yeah, it does require some setup. It requires some holy spells, relatively cheap for the most part. You can't really tempo this out and hope it lives and get a bunch of stuff off. That's probably never going to happen. But at the end of the day, this type of effect I don't think can be written off, and this card can absolutely not be ignored. It is not a tribal minion, at least. It's not like a Draenei or anything like that. It is purely just, you know, whatever. It doesn't have premium stats in a tribe, but it does have a pretty crazy effect. The only other thing that I will say is typically Priest isn't about just vomiting the board wide. We have seen some of that lately with like Zarimi Priest and Overheal Priest to an extent, but in its own different way. This is certainly a more unique and yeah, definitely build around style of thing. But again, it's pretty easy to tutor cards out, like Creation Protocol, which I think is a holy spell too, to get things out like this, that yeah, you could do that, and maybe like turn 4 or 5 you're already filling the board with a bunch of 3-drops, where I feel like you only need like 2 or 3 to really be like, oh great, that was a good turn early on. But again, maybe that isn't realistic. Maybe it is gonna be too slow and it's just 3 drops, and then what are you doing after that? By that point you're already getting board cleared, right? So maybe again it doesn't make the cut. So totally could see going both ways. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. I think it has potential, and you definitely do want to play a lot of holy spells so you can get those procs, because yeah, if you just spell burst it once without that holy spell, it's gone. So make sure you don't mess that up, because that would suck. And in Wild it's way too slow. In Wild for sure too slow, and 3-drops, you could end up getting what the Unlicensed Apothecary's reverse 3-drop and like blow yourself up. That could be pretty funny. So I actually think it's like a 1-star card in Wild, but Standard absolutely has a shot, and it's got a pretty nice signature to boot. The signatures of the set, unbelievable. I might have a whole full video at some point just going over all of them, because they're so good. But yeah, Wild, not so much. Standard, I think it's got a shot. So there you go. That's all the Priest cards today. We'll have more reviews tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.